students, how are you? Hope all of you are doing great. I am Nidhi Mehrotra, your science teacher, and I am here to discuss a very wonderful and very interesting chapter, that is lesson number 6 of your science. The name of the chapter is tissue. Before starting our today's lecture, student, I want to share a wonderful thought with you that will definitely boost up your confidence, students. So my today's thought is, success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. Isn't it wonderful, students? This thought helps you to focus in your daily reading habit. So let's move to our topic now, students. Our lesson number 6, which we are going to start today, it is tissue. So this chapter is the next stage of our previous biology chapter, that was lesson number 5, cell, which you have read earlier, and hope you all got or understood the things which we have read in that chapter very well. So now come to this chapter, student. In this chapter, tissue, the topics which we are going to cover today, that are introduction about tissue, and the next one is animal versus plant tissue. So now move to our very basic question of this chapter, that is, what are tissue? Before starting the introduction about tissue, students, let's recall the things which we have read in our previous chapter, that is cell. All of you are very much familiar about the definition of cell. What is the definition of cell, students? Just recall in your mind. A cell is the basic structural and functional unit of living organism. And in that chapter, we have read that living organisms are categorized into two categories on the basis of the number of cells, that is unicellular and multicellular. This classification of organism is on the basis of the number of cells. So unicellular organism, all of you are know that unicellular contain only one cell, and that particular one cell, it is capable of doing all kind of essential function which is essential for the survival of organism. So example of unicellular organism, amoeba and bacteria. While in multicellular organism, many of the cells are present, millions of cells are present in the organism body, and we can see the multicellular organism all around us. The example of multicellular organisms are plant, animal and human. As we know that in unicellular organism, only one cell can do all kind of function. But in multicellular organism, there are millions of cells. So how do we come to know that which type of cell perform what kind of function? So we can understand this with a very simple example, student. We can take the example of our school annual function. If a school organizes its annual function, lots of students of the schools participated in the annual function. And those students, they generally distributed into small groups, and each group has assigned a definite kind of duty. For example, one group of students assigned the duty of catering, the other group of students will be assigned the duty of cultural program, and the next one group is assigned the duty of the decoration. So here same happens with the different kind of cells in the multicellular organisms. There are lots of cells in the multicellular organism, and the cells are divided into small groups, and each group perform a special kind of function, same as the example which we have discussed here. Okay, so here we generally come to our basic point, that what are tissues? These cell groups which are perform a particular type of function, these group of cells, they are known as tissue. If we generally discuss the definition of tissue, so the very simple definition of tissue is a group of cells that are similar in structure Most of the time they are similar in structure, but not in always, student. We will discuss this thing later in the same chapter. And work together to achieve a specific function. This group is known as tissue. So what is the definition of tissue, students? Just repeat it with me. A group of cells of similar structure which work together to achieve a special kind of function is known as tissue. So is it clear to you, student? It is very easy definition and very important definition. A 1 mark question can come from this, what are tissue or define tissue. Okay. Now let's move to the next. Level of organization. What does it mean, level of organization? As you know, a multicellular organisms, all the multicellular organisms, they are consist of tissue. Okay. And how the multicellular organism form? There are different kind of level in the formation of multicellular organisms. What are those levels? These levels are shown here in a flow chart or flow diagram. I am sure that you have read this level of organization in your 8th standard also. So here the first step, the first stage or first level to make a complete organism is cells. Okay, cell is the basic unit, cell is the basic structural and functional unit of a living organism. When many of the cells group together, they form tissue. So tissue is the second stage or second level of organization. Same here. Now the tissues group together to form organs. Okay, so organ is the third level or third stage, and many of the organs, when they group together, they form a organ system. So organ system is the fourth stage or fourth level, and many of the organ system, they group together and work together and they form a complete organism. So these are the levels, they are in a particular sequence. So these level of organization comprises a particular organism. We can understand this thing by a example. As you know that in our body there are so many organ systems. All the organ system you have read in your 7th standard science book, students, such as respiratory system, excretory system, circulatory system, digestive system. These kind of system you have read earlier in your junior classes. We can take one of the very common example, that is respiratory system. So in respiratory system, what kind of organs? This is respiratory organ system. It is made up of different kind of organs. The organs are nose, pharynx, trachea, bronchi, and the most important organ in respiratory system is lungs. So these organs you have read in your previous junior classes. How these organs form? These organs are formed by the group of tissues. Tissues such as blood, muscular tissue, and nervous tissue. And how these tissues are formed? These tissues are group of cells such as blood cells, muscle cells, and nerve cells. So here you can see the level of organization, that blood cells or muscle cells or nerve cells, when they come together, they make the special kind of tissue such as blood, muscular tissue, nervous tissue. And when these tissues come together, they make the special kind of organs such as nose, pharynx, trachea, bronchi, lungs. And when these organs, all the organs, they work together, they make the respiratory system. And there are so many other organ system in our body. All the organ systems, they work together to make the particular kind of a living organism. So this is the level of organization. Hope you all have well understood about this. Okay students, now come to our next very important question. So my next question is, are all tissues look similar? So can you think about it? सभी टिश्यूज एक जैसे हो सकते हैं? क्या ऐसा होता है कि हम प्लांट्स के जैसे लगते हैं या हम अदर एनिमल्स के जैसे लगते हैं? नो. So my answer and your answer that no, not at all. Not all the tissues are not similar. So how can you we justify this question? So as we have read about plant cell and animal cell in our previous chapter number 5, cell. Have you read it? Yes, you have read it. Okay. So plant cell and animal tissues. Animal cells, sorry student. So whether the plant cell and animal cells both are same, student? No, they are not same. We have read so many differences in between plant and animal cell. Can you recall those differences? Number 1, plant cell, it is having cell wall as their outermost layer. Animal cell, it do not have cell wall. It is having cell membrane as their outermost layer of the cell. The second most common difference, plant cell having a single, a very large vacuole in the center of the cell. But animal cells, they are having small vacuoles, or they are having very less number of vacuoles. They are scattered in the cytoplasm. The third difference, plant cell nucleus. What is the position of plant cell nucleus, students? It is present at a corner or at a periphery. But in animal cell, it is present in the center. And the most common difference about a particular cellular organelle. What kind of organelle is this? It is plastid. In plant cells, plastids are present, but in animal cell, no plastid is there. So there are so many differences in plant and animal cell, students. So when we can say that plant cell and animal cells, they are not same. So how can we say that the tissues are similar? No, the tissues are not similar. They are generally differ or different. Tissues are different from each other structurally and functionally. What does it mean, student? How they are differ from each other structurally? Because their cells are different from each other in their structure. We have discussed now, plant cell and animal cell, both structure are different. So the tissues of plant and animal, they also differ from each other structurally. And functionally, they are also different from each other functionally, because their living habits have different, because of different lifestyle and different feeding habits. So how the animals and plants, they are differ in their lifestyle and in their feeding habits. Lifestyle of plants and animal is different because generally plants are static. They generally do not move. But animals, they are keep moving. And feeding habit of plants and animals, feeding habit of plants, they are autotrophs. They can make their food by themselves. But in animals, they are generally heterotrophs. This you have read in your previous junior class, students. So, because of structural and functional differences, the plant tissues and animal tissues, they are different to each other. Now we come here to see the differences between plant tissues and animal tissues, and this is also a very important part of the chapter, students. Plant tissues and animal tissues. The very first important difference in between plant and animal tissue, the first point is plant tissues are mostly dead. So as we have recently discussed that plants do not move generally. दे आर स्टैटिक इन नेचर. स्टैटिक मीन्स कि एक ही जगह पे रहते हैं. आपने कभी प्लांट्स को चलते हुए नहीं देखा होगा, है ना. बट वी एनिमल, ह्यूमन बींग्स और ऑल द एनिमल्स, दे कैन keep moving. Okay, so because plants are static in nature, so generally they do not need very much amount of energy. That's why their tissues are dead. But their tissues are supportive in nature. They provide the mechanical strength to the plant. What does it mean, students, that mechanical strength? So we can see by one example here that all of you have definitely observed the growth of the plant. When a plant is very small, or it is as plantlet, the size of the stem and the size of the root of the plant are very small. As the plant grow, its size of stem and size of root gradually increases. When it become a tree, the size of stem and the size of root, it enlarge. So here now we can see that when the plant grow, it also have to bear many of the branches, many of the leaves, many of the flowers, fruit. So to bear all these parts, the plant need a supportive action. So all the plant tissue, generally most of the plant tissue, sorry, not all, most of the plant tissue, they are supportive in nature. They give the plant a mechanical strength. If the support is not there, how can a single stem, it can bear so many branches on it? How can it bear so many leaves on it? So the tissues which are dead but provide the mechanical strength, by those tissue the plant is able to bear so many branches, leaves, flowers or fruit. But when we see the animals, because generally animals, they are keep moving, and for the movement we need the energy. As we have read in our previous chapter, the chapter number 5, cell, that the living cell having a special kind of cell organelle that is known as mitochondria, and it is the powerhouse of the cell. So we need mitochondria and we need living cells for the production or generation of energy. So if we want more energy, we want more living cells. So more of the living cells means the more energy generating. That's why mostly animal tissues are living, because they need the extra amount of energy for doing the things in their daily routine life. As we know that we generally in our daily routine, we generally keep moving, writing, dancing, eating, skipping, lots of the activity we have to do, and we want the extra amount of energy for doing these kind of activities. So we want the living tissues. That's why mostly animal tissues are living in nature. Now come to the second point about the growth. The growth in the plant tissues is limited to specific reason. स्पेसिफिक रीजन में ही ग्रोथ होती है. प्लांट में क्या होता है कि पूरी जो प्लांट की बॉडी होती है उसमें ग्रोथ यूनिफॉर्म नहीं होती. ऐसा नहीं होता कि प्लांट में ऑल द पार्ट्स दे जनरली ग्रो सिमिलरली. As if we compare this with us, that in the human being or in the animals, all the plants generally grow uniformly. जैसे जब हम छोटे होते हैं, छोटे से बड़े होते हैं, as we are a newly born baby, we become a 4-year-old child, or become a 14-year-old, then become a 24-year-old. We can observe that the body parts, all the body parts, they generally grow. ओके, एंड ऑल द पार्ट्स ग्रो. ऐसा नहीं होता कि आपके हाथ ग्रो कर गए हैं लेकिन आपके फिंगर ग्रो नहीं किए हैं, है ना. ऐसा तो नहीं होता है. आपने देखा होगा कि एक छोटा बच्चा है और एक बड़ा बच्चा है, आप उसको कंपेयर करोगे तो छोटे बच्चे का फेस, उसका साइज छोटा है, लेकिन जो बड़ा है उसका साइज उसके अकॉर्डिंग है. सो एनिमल्स में जो ग्रोथ होती है, इट इज यूनिफॉर्म. ओके, यूनिफॉर्म थ्रू आउट. बट इन प्लांट्स द ग्रोथ इज नॉट यूनिफॉर्म. Why? Because there are special reason in the plant. Only the growth is limited to those specific reason. Especially कहाँ growth होती है plants में? Generally plant. This is the smaller plant. Okay, when it grow, we can easily observe that the stem and the root generally grows. So they are the special reason where growth occur in the plant. Okay, so these specific reason having special kind of tissues which we discuss later, students, in this chapter. So these special reason are known as dividing region, and the tissues which are present in the specific growth region are known as dividing tissues. Okay, so is it clear to you, students, that growth is not uniform in the plants? We will discuss this point in detail in our next lecture, students. And in animal, the growth is almost uniform throughout. So the dividing, क्योंकि ग्रोथ के लिए क्या असेंशियल है, व्हाट इज असेंशियल फॉर द ग्रोथ? डिवाइडिंग टिश्यू. डिवाइडिंग टिश्यू का मतलब जो कंटिन्यूस डिवाइड करता रहे, एक से दो से चार से आठ, तो कंटिन्यूस डिवाइड करेगा तभी ग्रोथ होगी ना. सो द ग्रोथ, फॉर द ग्रोथ द डिवाइडिंग टिश्यू प्रेजेंट थ्रू आउट द बॉडी ऑफ द एनिमल्स, but in plants the dividing tissues are restricted to the specific region. Okay, students, so these are two basic differences between plant tissue and animal tissue. You can understand this topic when we discuss the plant tissue and animal tissue in detail in our further lectures. Okay, so now our today's topic is end up, student. We generally have taken the introductory part today, student. What is tissue, the definition of tissue, the level of organization, and the basic difference between plant and animal. Okay, so now I am going to end up my today's lecture with a wonderful question, student. Just to focus on the question, my today's question is, what is the utility of tissues in multicellular organisms? So you have to find out the answer for this question, student. To find out the answer, you have to read out your first 2 pages of chapter number 6 from your book and revise those pages and find out the answer, student. We will discuss the answer in our next video, and I hope that you all got understood today's topic. Just revise the topic. Have a nice day, students.